Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It's Monday, November the 17th, 2025, and today's topic will be a continuation of a series that I'm doing about drawing heads from imagination. But I thought that today, I think the next kind of thing to focus on would be like proportions. Before we begin, welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new to the channel. I sketch and post every day, and I use a timer to stay focused and to build a habit. I'll start a 10-minute timer. But yeah, I'll link to yesterday's video. That was the getting into it. That's like the intro. I worked on it for about 30 minutes, just adding detail from imagination. That's like the whole point of it. There will be some reference used at some point, maybe. The idea is that, like, I just wanted to share, like, how I draw heads from imagination. But I wanted to talk about proportions because to me, I call it the basics. It's incredibly important. It comes up all the time. And if you look up, like, proportions of the face, there's a ton of information and books and whatnot. And that's how I basically learned it. And then also, yeah, like, with reference, you can measure it. I'll just kind of go over like the stuff that comes up a lot because I'm not really trying to repeat the stuff that's already out there. The information is out there, but what I wanted to do is just kind of show, like, demonstrate how it shows up for me, especially for drawing like from imagination. One thing that I find on, like, when you're drawing like the face and stuff is it tends to be like in thirds. So just an example, like let's say you have a line right here, like, and then you divide it into what seems like thirds. So the way I tend to do stuff is, like with proportions, is I give myself leeway. So I'll either do something that is like in half, like that's half right here, or I will do it in thirds, which is usually half and then like half again to get like a third or something like that. I think I just confused myself here, but half and then this half. So that's how I use halves, is like if I need to. This is also if I'm looking at something, if I'm figuring something out, but then after a while, like, you sort of internalize it. But let's go back to this one. I just kind of confused myself. So that's like thirds right there, like 1, 2, and 3. Here's like 1 and 2. And then thirds would be, yeah, like if I just kind of did that, then I would just get like this part. To me, like, that's the quickest way that I've been able to figure out how to get proportions without getting like bogged down by measuring it and stuff like that. And that's just like helpful in general. So for example, you can either start with that. So like the eyes on the face is sort of the measurement, kind of like heads like on the body. But like if you're just focusing on the face, usually it's going to be like eyes. So let's just pretend like these are eyes. Again, there's tutorials on how to draw specific things, and I do have some if you look in the figure drawing playlist. And a lot of this stuff I have gone over. But it never hurts to go over it again. So that's like the basic way that I kind of think about, and at first you might have to really practice this part, and then on a, like, if you're looking at people and like at reference and stuff, it's gonna be within there, and then you just make adjustments, and that's usually how I tend to work. So same thing with like the rest of it. So for example, like over here, it's usually not going to be like, oh, an eye. It's like a little bit less to get to like the side of this part where it turns, because, and we'll get to the anatomy part also, but it's like the bone structure. I think tomorrow will be sort of like the landmarks. These are like landmarks. So like the brow, the eyebrows can look different, but obviously like there's still like bone structure. So same with like the eye socket area will always be there, and that's where it turns. and it's usually not a full, because it's turning away, and so it's a little bit less. Again, these measurements are out there. Or like just, yeah, pick up a book like Loomis or Jack Ham, whatever. I learned a lot from Jack Ham, the Brown Book. But also, I mean, you can just look, and also I'm showing you right here. My point is, like, thirds tend to be sort of the thing. An example of that would be, like, let's say that this is like the eyes, and let's just draw some eyes real quick. See, I just kind of eyeball that, so to speak. So there's that, but then, like, let's say like the nose. So like if this is the brow, let's say, then it's usually like a third, kind of like this. And then you make adjustments. According to the, now that's just the proportions, but then of course there's like the thing of shape, which like on the face, part of that's coming from the bones, and then part of it's coming from the like the skin and like, yeah, like other kind of anatomy. But I think it's good to take it sort of a step at a time. So this is like the proportion. See if you can get like the underlying like proportion. So this is the thirds right here. If you're not getting this part, I would definitely focus on that. I would focus on internalizing the proportions, like before anything else. You could start with, for example, like what else? What other proportions? So that's how you get like this part, like the thirds here. And then you've got like different proportions that, so just an example, I'll just draw an oval. You've got proportions like, so yeah, let's say you have an oval, and then I would, like, for example, as you're looking at this, you might think, okay, well, where do the eyebrows go? Like, so again, this is sort of landmarks. And so I would just start by doing that, just kind of placing the eyeballs, and then you can add like all the other proportions. So that already gives you like the thirds, because from here you would just add the nose, and then, so that's this part, that's like that proportion, and then about, so again, you would make adjustments because people look different and characters look different. So the other kind of proportions is stuff like the width of the nose and stuff. So you could adjust that. Same with like the mouth. It's usually not going to be half. It's a little bit up, but like the lips affect things, like the way it looks. So this part, and then also like this. And you can just use the eyes for that because you have this part right here. So it's just going off of this. So these proportions are basically like based upon just the face right now. There's other proportions. You might want to experiment. There's also ways of drawing the features. Like that's not what this video is about, but like where the pupils go and stuff like that. It's plenty of reference to look at. So you've got like this proportion. You've got this, like where that goes. And you can experiment with it just to see what it looks like, since we're drawing from imagination anyway. Same with this, like that looks different in people. And so here's this part. It's not like quite as wide because it's turning away. And then the ears have a proportion to them. Again, you kind of just have to get used to looking at different faces and wondering like, or asking yourself like what the differences are. Also like in your own face. Same with like the width of the chin has like a proportion to it. And I'm just like making it up. So it's a little different in people. Part of that's coming from the jaw and like, yeah, like the chin. And then you can always go back in and add details. A lot of the details come from the surface anatomy, like the skin and everything, and like the age of the person. There's a lot of varieties. Now there might also be the question of like the difference between like men and women. I mean, there's just a lot of like different varieties. Like this one I think looks a little bit more like feminine, I guess. But like it doesn't have to be. Like you just have to play around with it. And just study like faces. I mean, that's like the face sort of proportion. And then there's proportions of, I guess, one more thing just to fill this little area. There's also like the thirds when it comes to like the 3/4, like right here. I'll just do this part. Like that's usually what I do. With an idea that, so that's kind of like the face, and then with an idea that it's going to have kind of like that kind of thing, like the cranium part, like that's the idea. And so if I were to divide this, usually I'll use like the bridge of the nose, so like right here. If I were to divide it, like this is sort of the thirds right there. Like you have the division sort of like right here. That makes sense. And then the ears just sort of attached because this is like a plane right here. Like it's turning. And then yeah, the rest of the proportions are the same. Like that's how I got this part. So that's like the basic idea, but I think the best thing is to figure it out. I mean, play around with it and then look at something, look at some people and come up. I mean, I think that, I mean, I've got a lot of this from books and like other people and stuff. So it's not like a secret. Like it's not really any secret or shortcut, but some of the like your style or whatever is just going to come from manipulating like this kind of stuff, the shapes and simplifying it and everything. I want to thank you for joining me for our daily sketching routine, and if you enjoy these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it, and until next time, keep on sketching.